If we were to go now to the junior report form, we'll click on a new one. And like Jody was describing earlier, we're trying to make this real simple for them. It's just there's a lot of questions that are asked, and we have a lot of blank space there for them to put their information. And this is a space where the text will scroll down the screen as they continue to add more information, so they can fill up this particular box and then some if they need to. And so we're just asking some real general questions. Like the first question is my main 4-H project is. They just type that in. We didn't want to have this as a drop-down list because there are some kind of self-determined projects that some kids pick, and so our list would probably be probably incomplete, whatever we were to put on here in a drop-down format. So that's why we've kind of left it as a blank field for them to kind of determine. If I were to keep typing on this screen, it would actually scroll down. You can see the scroll buttons on the right-hand side of the box, so they can actually keep typing in more information than what may be visible here while I'm typing. So the first section, like Jody mentioned earlier, is all about setting goals, and so we feel like that was something that has been missing from our record keeping system. We encourage kids to do it in the member achievement plan, but in all honesty, probably not too many families or kids use that, and we certainly never looked at that during the judging process to see if kids are setting goals and working towards those goals. So this is something that we thought was important to include. So you can see the types of questions, and y'all can read these on your own leisure if you have time to jump into the system and kind of explore a little bit. We have a diary of events for them to complete. So we just basically want to know what did they do, when did they do it, what did you learn, and did you meet one of your goals by doing this activity? And so this particular one is yes, no, or even I don't know. I mean, some of the junior kids may not know if that met a goal or not, but at least gets them to thinking about, I wanted to win, a blue ribbon this year with my rabbits. Well, if that's something that they did, then they can certainly document it here, and they could say yes, that I achieved that goal. So originally we had some dates in here. Well, I guess we do still have dates in here, and that's simply you click on the field and this little date box appears, and they can pick the date that it happened and go from there, or they can type it in either way. And just so you know too, the system does work best in Internet Explorer, especially primarily the only difference that I've seen so far in using other browsers is this date window. All the other features work just fine, but for some reason in the date window that appears here may look differently in Firefox or Safari or even Google's Chrome browser. So if you're finding out that people are having difficulty seeing this particular field, then you may encourage them to use Internet Explorer, because this website was developed using Microsoft products, so that's why it does work best. There is no maximum length on the text boxes, and so as of right now, it'll continue to scroll. So if they wanted to, say it in a couple of sentences, what they did, then it'll continue to go a little bit further. let's move on down. And one of the things that we're probably looking at doing is we realize and understand that right now there's a limited number of diary fields here, and obviously some kids do a lot more than others. For some kids during an entire 4-H year for their project, they may only do 6 or 7 different things, and so they wouldn't necessarily fill this up, whereas others, they may do 35 to 40 things, and so we're talking about how to best handle that. Do we encourage kids to put only the major events in here, or kind of summarize what they did this month, or the direction we're probably leaning at this point would be to put a plus button down at the bottom, so that they complete one row and they need to add another, they can hit the plus button and they'll add another row as they go, so they can kind of customize the length of it themselves. And so, the question then comes up on the judging aspect is, what if a kid has, 85 different things? And so that's something that Jody and I are going to have to discuss a little bit and make a part of our judging criteria as we get to that point in the cycle. Scrolling on down, we kind of move into from the the beginning. We have the goals. In the middle, we have the kind of what I did as I did it, and then at the end of it all, we have the story, which kind of summarizes what you did. And so, like Jody was sharing earlier, the story is broken down into different parts for the juniors, so it just kind of helps them gather their thoughts and document their thoughts onto the screen. So by asking simple questions, hopefully we can get some good information out of them. We certainly want the kids to write in complete sentences and use paragraph formats and all those kind of things. So one thing that we've discovered is as of right now, whenever you enter a lot of text in these fields, for some reason it's not holding the paragraph formats. So that's something that I'll be working on behind the scenes in the weeks to come. So just encourage them to go ahead and start filling in some of that information. The story is obviously something they don't need to be writing right now anyway, unless they have some of this information. So just know that up front, that we're working on the formatting stuff whenever it comes out to the print feature, and I know there's been some discussion about that in the text chat. And then the story is continued here a little further along down at the bottom of the page. And then the last few sections are about the awards, the service, and the leadership that the kids have worked towards. So if they've received any awards, they would list those here. And then community service would be listed as well. And they can tell us in sentences, preferably, how they did that. We're not necessarily worried about the kids learning how to chart their information and put them in graphs and all that stuff. I think it's best for a junior just to tell me why they're excited about something that they did, whether it's an award or a service activity or a leadership position. We want them to just describe what they've done, what they've learned, what they got out of it. So from a youth development point of view, we think that that's probably the most important thing that they get out of it. Whenever they're done with the form itself, then they'll hit save, and it'll take them back to the member menu page where they can continue on with other forms or log out of the system from there. Just as a footnote, if they hit the reset button, everything that they've entered up until this point will be wiped out. So that's kind of a almost a dangerous button to have, but there are times, I guess, whenever certain individuals need that or want that. And if we scroll back up to the top of the page, you'll see that the information that I put up here has been wiped out. So it's basically an erase button. So use it with caution, and caution your families accordingly.